All right, Mindy, why don't you just take us through your changes and what's new since we've kind of looked at the proposal already.
Yeah, this is all of my stuff I have. So
can you see, did you share to Kate?
It's, yeah, should we share my screen?
Can you see it, Kate?
Yep, I can see it.
Okay, good.
All right, this is my proposal, my flow chart, my wireframes.
Ooh, it looks, oh my gosh.
So here's my final version for design 1. I ended up changing a bunch of stuff, and it's much more simple now.
Fabulous.
There's this one, and then there's the secondary page, which looks more like this. Phone home, and then phone secondary. And then I did another design, which I have on here, but I ended up scrapping it last night at like 8 p.m. because I was like, wait, I hate this. So I did this one instead, which
when
is...
you got that wine tasting graphic off the glasses finally,
Yeah.
I knew that was problematic. I watched the video.
Yeah, I think it looks better this way.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, so it's like this now.
Yeah, I think you could score along with your so it's good to see those because I can see the changes directly.
I'm so
Good.
glad we record those class sections.
Good. I haven't, I've had some trouble. I don't know, did I post Fridays?
Yeah.
I did?
Yeah, it was a half hour about.
Yeah. And it was just Sarah and Eric.
Hi.
Right. Hi.
I couldn't figure out how to get through here, but now I got it.
That's okay. Oh, we're trying to be efficient today because we have so many presentations. I want to gauge. We're just reacting to Mindy's stuff right now. I have so much to say. I'm like about to burst at the seams. But you guys, I'm going to shut up and let you guys go first. And if you want to see something specific, then just please speak up.
Can I see how you laid your phone wireframe next to your web wireframe?
For the homepage or the...
There we go.
Yes.
Just the general position notes.
Yep.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
What helped from last week? I'm just curious.
I wrote down everything that you said to do, so I did like those little stuff first, like I changed some alignments and I made stuff bigger and whatever, and then I was looking at it objectively and I'm like, you know, someone said it was like too much, it was too busy, so I took out, there was a bunch of binding over here and I took that out, and then, I don't know, I also took from what you guys said with my wireframes, I know it was specifically for the wireframes, but I kept things from being too dark and distracting even on the final version. Like I had a different color palette for this entirely, like it was much more saturated and vibrant, and then I don't know, this is going to be an example of what
Oh, good. I think I want you guys to notice a couple of things. One, do you see what a difference a good alignment makes? Just consistent alignment. I mean, it's going back to CRAP principles. The alignment is huge, and the repetition of your typeface throughout, and the header color throughout, and all of that. I think it's. I think it makes a big difference. There's a little bit of busyness that, you know, I might tone down. I don't know if the green type is necessary. It kind of is getting a little bit Christmassy, a little bit going down that path. But what I really like is that you are proposing two very different concepts, where you have one that kind of has this more organic feel to it, and then the other one which has a real elegant sort of feel to it. I think you need a little bit more contrast between this background image and the content that you're putting on top.
Okay.
Because it's starting to look a little bit muddy, even in both of your designs. If you go up to the other one, like I love what you've done at the bottom there with that kind of, it looks almost like wallpaper. It feels really homey, but we're only seeing it kind of down peaking at the bottom. I would add more contrast between that whole bottom area and then the content on top to kind of make the content on top pop up a little bit.
Okay.
It's all sort of getting a little bit muddy, and I would play with your contrast a little bit. So scroll to the top a little bit. And so you have that, you've got so many different layers that are kind of like, it's not clear sort of what's background and what's foreground.
Okay.
I think you have things in the right places, and you have a nice balance, and the layout works. It's just some of the graphic elements could be a little bit more refined.
Okay.
The branch coming in at the top, I think I would just, I don't think you really need it. Just maybe search, keep the branch work maybe in the background. Briarwood, you might want a tagline about like your community, elegance in your community, or I don't know, something that kind of makes some crazy thing up.
Okay.
I think that your phone layouts, and I want you guys use this as a model of what's expected to turn in, because let's just go back to the top, and I think there's some questions about what exactly you should be turning in. Go to the very beginning, and what I love that she did is she actually followed directions. So here she has her proposal. Keep going. Just let's scroll really slowly. Your proposal, all of the sections in the proposal that were required. And then she gets into her flow chart. And remember, she's been evolving that flow chart. And I liked some of the changes that you've made to indicate different types of content. So here's her flow chart. And then she goes into, I would maybe label that this page, your wireframes.
Okay.
And now that you've made some changes, like these wireframes are not really reflecting, well, just this one specifically, because you've changed, no, go up a little bit. You've changed the alignment.
Okay, so you want me to fix the original wireframe?
Yeah, to match, so that we see that connection. Okay, keep going. So here's her wireframes, and now she's getting into her final interface designs. So this is her home page, her lower level page. I do feel like that award stuff is kind of floating out there just a little bit.
Okay.
I don't know what else to suggest in that sidebar there, but maybe reiterating store hours, or maybe I would do a pull quote. I think your heading gets a little lost in that image. You're on the wine tastings page, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what other things could she do to help orient the user as to where they are in this site? You guys know of strategies for orienting the user? Meaning, like, when I say orient the user, what if somebody just Googles something and lands on this page? How do you give them some context as to where they are?
I just realized my breadcrumb isn't here. I had a breadcrumb and it's not here.
Breadcrumbs, that's exactly it. And also possibly highlighting, is wine tastings in the wine section, maybe highlighting the wine link too, to kind of, to let the user know, here's where you are. You're in the wine area. You're in the Briarwood site in the wine area, and you've landed on tastings. Okay, keep going. And now I'm feeling a little bit of a disconnect. I can tell that this wireframe is, this mobile version is similar to, it goes with that design, but there's so many things that are different. Like even your heading background, is that the same color? Right. So and also you have sort of a softness in that proposal, that interface design, as opposed to those ribbons. They're kind of a harsh graphic. They have very harsh angles to them. And even your graphic stylizing of like the slider image, it just feels a little bit pointy and harsh, and your design has like all these nice kind of like soft wallpapery kind of look.
Okay.
So even though you mocked this up as like ribbons in your wireframe, they don't necessarily have to take on that shape. Maybe there's some other treatment of those elements that I don't know, that work with the whole look and feel. Okay, keep going. So think about the life as a coder. Like if you brought this to me to code it, I would be like, wait a second. So when the phone gets when the browser is really small, you want me to change all the colors and stuff? You know what I mean?
That's an easy thing to do, though.
But why would I do that? Why would I create a different experience on mobile versus, such a different color scheme and such a different treatment of, on this one, I would bring your picture up, have it span full width, and put your heading wine tasting below.
Okay.
And then I think this will look a lot more elegant if you play, like it's getting a little bit wishy-washy with all of the branches and stuff bleeding into the, into the interface. I tone that background down, and let your content pop.
Okay.
You may think about differentiating more this design from the other design by thinking about changing your type style for your headers. I like that these are going in very different directions, but this is your opportunity to show a client, here we could go this way, or we could go this way. So
Okay.
you might want to change that type size style to give them a different feel.
Okay.
And I think the sidebar, do you guys have any suggestions on that sidebar? Does it feel, I think what I would do, well, I don't know. What do you guys think about that sidebar?
Does it go anywhere? Is it fit you anywhere? I didn't see in the,
Yeah, no, it's just supposed to be like a filler, like a little, this is our award kind of thing. And I didn't think they would have more than one, so I just put one there.
Can you put the graphic like up by the wine tasting pictures and then stretch the text out more?
I mean, I could. I feel like that's not differentiating it enough because that's a completely separate thing from the wine tasting. Like, I didn't want it to be one giant graphic, and I felt like if I did that, it would be too busy and too much text. I don't know. I wanted to pad it out so it's not like huge blocks of text, which would kind of overwhelming.
Yeah.
Well, I would definitely take the wine tasting wording in your picture into below the banner image.
Mm-hmm.
You may want to stretch it all the way across. That might be too, I don't know. You may want to just stretch it all the way across. It just feels like things are floating a little bit out there. And if it's stretched all the way across, it would kind of anchor it. You might want like to explain sort of why that's there. You might want to have some text that says like Briarwood is an award-winning wine cellar in St. Louis, or best selection, or our accolades, or you know what I mean? Something that kind of helps you understand what this content is right there,
Okay.
or why I would want to come taste wine at Briarwood.
Okay.
The bold text for your copy, I would lose that. You don't want to have paragraphs of text in bold. It gets to be too much. It's too heavy. And if you're doing it because there's not enough contrast, then you need to tone it down. Again, this, work on the stylistic consistency between the mobile and that one. I mean, I feel like it's looking a little bit more, this is looking elegant, and this is looking a little bit more utilitarian.
Okay.
So bring those elegant elements in that have a consistent, to keep it consistent.
Okay.
I know we talked about it a lot, but they're little tweaks.
Mm-hmm.
And you have it all in the right format. It's just a matter of like tweaking the design a little to make it more cohesive. I mean, you're at the point now where how can I make this look as good as possible for my portfolio?
Mm-hmm.
I think you're in good shape. Does it help seeing a project all together for you guys? Good. I think this is a really cohesive presentation. All right, any requests to go next? Thank you, Mindy.
Could I go?
Sure.
Just so I can run back to work.
Can you put Jenna on?
Thank you, guys. Let's see.
I'm Attorney John Page. There are many laws designed to protect drivers from dangerous tractor trailers. Too often, trucking companies don't follow.
Okay, hopefully. Can you all see that?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm in our break room too, so I hope, can you hear our TV? It's really loud and I can't figure out how to turn it down. I'm sorry, I hope you guys can hear me. All of our conference rooms are booked, so had to make do. Okay, so mine is kind of like the previous one. I hope it's pretty well put together. Again, I kind of did it in mind for my business, my furniture restoration. I didn't even have a logo or anything, so I was kind of starting from scratch, which was very helpful. So I have my objectives and target audience, everything like that, which we kind of went over the last time I presented. So I think it's in pretty good shape. Hopefully it looks okay. My goal is to go for like a shabby chic rustic look. So let me know if you guys get that. And then also here's my flow chart, which I think I also presented last time as well. I just spiced it up a little bit with the barnwood look. And then here's where I started to get into the layout and design. So my logo I put in the top left, and then all my different options for pages. And then I was going to do rotating images, maybe like 3 images of like finished furniture pieces, or like I offer classes on how to paint furniture, so maybe some cool pictures of classes just to show the different options. And then I did I know a lot of DIYers do like a whole page about them and kind of like let people into their lives and see like how they use DIY in their own homes and stuff. So that's what this section here is, like Meet Jenna. And then I have the calendar for events. The second page that I decided to tackle was more about the DIY classes and the DIY parties, just because it's a lot of information. So my thought was you could pick between either the classes or a party. There would be a photo of each, and then some text below just with some ideas on what you could learn in the classes, and then you'd click from there and actually go to an additional page with all the details depending on which one you're looking at. And then here's my mobile design, which is kind of, I tried to mock it up like that, where we just have a few key things when you first open the app, and then, or when you first open the browser, I guess, and then the classes as well, because those seem to be the most popular thing that people are looking for these days. So I figured those should be the highlight, basically.
I like how you actually put the phone.
Oh, thanks.
I think that was nice touch.
Oh, sorry, what was that?
I think that was a nice touch. Actually,
Oh, thank you.
how it would look like on an actual phone rather than showing a mobile web.
Oh, cool. Thanks. So here's when I got into.
Sorry, Jenna. Hang on 1 second. He's referring to, maybe I don't know if you guys picked up on that, but he's referring to just putting the outline of the phone in there to indicate what it is. I mean, some people even like take real phones and pictures of phones. You can get it online, and then just dropping your interface design or your wireframe in there kind of helps the client understand what it is. Yesterday, I'm finishing up a website right now, and my client said, I didn't even know what a hamburger menu is. I had to Google that because he didn't know what I was talking about. Anyway, it's just funny. That's what you're dealing with when you're trying to communicate your ideas to clients. I keep going, Jen. I'll shut up.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, if anybody, I mean, I just Googled like iPhone icon and just screenshotted it and then took it into Illustrator. If anybody wants to grab one, it was pretty easy. So then here's when I get into actually like plugging in more design. So I added that wood background again. When I started, I actually had the entire background with the distressed barnwood, but it was really busy, so I took it off. Kept the palette kind of bland with like a light pink for shabby chic look, and then put in a piece of furniture, a picture of me and my fiance, and then the calendar I changed the color on just to kind of match the logo a little bit with the green. And then here is the second page, which I'm not totally thrilled with yet. I keep messing with it. I have some pictures of classes and parties. And then, like I said, I just kind of tried to lay out a couple ideas. Like, you know, if you take a DIY class, it's furniture painting, or you learn to decorate on a budget with thrift store makeovers, or you can refresh inherited furniture, or do repair or power tool classes, stuff like that. But I don't know, it looks kind of plain to me, so I don't know if anybody has any suggestions, or if, I don't know, I asked my fiance, and of course he's like, oh, it looks great, but he's not a creative person at all, so he thinks anything looks great. I don't know, I keep kind of toying with this page a little bit, so any feedback would be appreciated. And then I just kind of took those and plugged them in to the mobile as well. And for the mobile, I did actually use the wood background for the whole thing just to kind of fill it in a little bit. And I didn't think it ended up too busy, so I was pretty happy with how that came out. And my second design, I went a little hipster with it, just because that's kind of my style with arrows and bright colors and stuff. I like, oh, sorry, what was it?
I like it. It's different than the norm.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it was kind of funky. I think if I actually go forward and make a website, I'll probably use the other design just because it's a little more, I guess it fits the furniture and the look that the furniture goes for a little bit, but this is kind of more my style. So all I did really was I used the same photos and everything. I just changed up the color. I changed up the logo a little bit and added in the new background with the arrows. So it's pretty much the same, just changing the colors around and stuff.
Okay, let's go back to the beginning. Do you guys have any comments or suggestions for Jenna?
You should get more elements on that page that shows classes and what we get.
Classes and parties. Can you guys hear it? Can you hear okay, Jenna?
I'm struggling a little bit. I can hear you, but I have a hard time with everybody else.
Yeah, is there anything that can go in like another element? There's enough space in there the way those are all centered up that you could utilize it.
Yeah, I feel like it's lacking a little bit for sure.
Is there something the business does?
What was it?
It's on the flow chart. I don't remember.
I don't know if I had anything on the flow chart. No, I just, oops. I kind of just laid it out, the two choices, and then kind of went from there. I don't know. I think I'll keep playing with it a little bit too to see.
Can we go back to the very beginning?
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'm just going to start at the beginning because there's a lot to talk about too. I think that your logo is brilliant. It really captures the feeling of your style. Great, perfect,
Cool.
lovely. And they're great colors in it too. And these colors should inspire you. Remember, if you took INTM 1600, we talk about repetition. That's one way to unify a design is by repetition. And if you look at this logo, there's some organic shapes and lines. You've got a great typeface for the name of your site. You've got great colors in there. We should see those stylistic elements repeated in your interface design to provide a cohesive look and feel, okay? So
Okay.
I want you to be drawing inspiration from that. This looks great. If I look at this slide by itself, it looks really cool. The problem is that it looks like the shape of an interface design. So I think this would confuse a client by putting this wood background right there on the home page. It could be a little bit confusing because you're using it in your interface too. So you need to define this first page. It's like, this is the introduction to my proposal, as opposed to, I think you're just kind of, it looks cool. I love the barnwood, but keep some separation between this is presentation and this is going to be my interface design later on, okay?
Okay.
So I would omit that background. Keep going to your proposal. The center alignment of all of that text makes it very difficult to read. There's not a lot of text, and I know you're trying to be stylistic about it, but I would suggest being stylistic, maybe use full justified columns, because center alignment all in bold is very difficult to read.
Okay.
Okay, then you go to your flow chart.
Pastor Jason says church are such a local place to worship for at least.
Can you zoom in just a little bit? It's really hard to see.
Police to help find those responsible for damage.
No, everybody
Because of that.
about the flow chart. What is she implying by the structure of her flow chart? Matt knows. Can you hear him okay, Jenna?
The lines going up and down.
Oh. No, what was that?
Our sub directory part of it. So the lines from the bottom would go.
Did you hear that, Jenna?
The sheriff says deputies started wearing them.
It's cutting out a little bit. I'm sorry, I can't hear.
It's okay. So when you create a structure like this, you are implying that from the home page, I need to go to a page called Paint Parties and DIY. And then I go to Paint Parties. And then to get to DIY classes, I have to go to DIY classes. You're implying that it's a pathway, that I have to go through all of these pages to get to something else. Okay?
Gotcha. So the paint parties and DIY should be on the same level, basically.
Yes, exactly. And we've talked about this in previous videos. So did you remember me going over this in previous videos?
Yeah, I watched them over the weekend because I missed the last two, but sorry, I don't think I went back and looked at my flow chart. I was just kind of working forward, but that makes sense,
Yeah,
so I will note it.
I don't think this is the most optimal structure for your flow chart. I think shop should be on its own. Finished pieces and unfinished pieces and antiques, this all feels like it's part of your portfolio, right?
Okay.
To just give people inspiring ideas. That portfolio, how is that going to differ from the blog? Maybe the blog has subsections like portfolio, tips and tricks. I mean, I feel like that might be all under the blog.
Well, my thought with shop is like you could click on finished pieces, or like I sell unfinished pieces sometimes too for people who want to do their own DIY, and then antiques are mixed in as well. So my thought was like when you were shopping, I would have different sections to choose from instead of lumping them all in together.
Got it. Then if that's the case, then remember that branching structure. There's not a linear pathway between the three of them.
Makes sense.
The paint parties and DIY classes, I feel like there's completely two different topics and they should be separated.
Okay.
I would just call them, paint parties, DIY, and then paint parties, classes. Those are two different areas. And you can, Brian was concerned that there wasn't enough content on that page. I mean, you'd have great pictures from the paint parties. It seems like it could be full of images and talk about different types of parties you do.
Cool.
Design services, again, that should be a branching structure. Event calendar is just redundant. I would just call it calendar.
Okay.
And then a blog, I don't know if you need archives underneath it. I think it's implied that you're going to have an archive of content within your blog.
Okay, makes sense.
Okay, so go to your next page. Any quick assessments of this? Looking at crap concepts, thinking of crap concepts, what would you tell her?
Needs some back. Yes, in a big way. We're seeing more case and then
Contrast proximity. Well, yeah,
you're really great.
Yeah, it feels like you're not visually connected. I think your biggest issue with your wireframe is the alignment. There's so many different alignment points here. You've got like the logo hanging off way to the left. You have your navigation bar that's sort of in the middle. Meet Jenna is kind of indented a little bit, And then this home shop contact, I'm not sure why you're repeating it at on the top.
Okay. Yeah, I can take that off. I was wondering that myself. But I was looking at other pages and like researching, and most DIYers do that. So, but I kind of thought the same thing. Like it's kind of redundant since I already have it in the main bar.
And it doesn't. If this is your home page, it doesn't feel like you're using the space very efficiently. Remember, your home page is your opportunity to get people to like go and explore some more. So maybe you want to pull in areas of content that show my latest piece, or to get people excited about going to explore the site. It feels like you're wasting space here.
Okay.
One more thing.
I guess.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, in researching, it's so hard to like look at other DIYers blogs because so many of them have what am I trying to say? Ads on them. Like all like mommy bloggers and DIYers, that's like their dream is to get ad space on their page. Yeah. So their pages get really, really busy. So I was thinking more simplistic, but I totally get what you're saying.
You may have to sometimes logos don't fit all that well into web interfaces. So sometimes you have to make different versions of a logo, and that's really common like if you think about the Webster University logo, sometimes it's stacked, sometimes it's black and white. They have different iterations of it. Yours has a very square footprint, but those branches are really big compared to the tagline, which I can't even read. I know I can look on my screen and I see it says painting, refurbishing, design. You might want to pull that tagline out and deploy it in a larger in your header space.
Okay.
I would pull apart those elements and use them in a way that we can actually read it, and you're not losing so much space vertically.
Okay.
So I think you need to go back to this page and kind of rework the space a little bit to be more strategic, and also fix your alignment issues so it doesn't feel like things are kind of floating all off into space.
Okay.
Okay, now keep going through.
Beautiful. And this
Yeah.
green and red,
Well, you lose your menu bar on your lower level page.
all over this place right now.
Oh yeah, that would help.
So think about that and then keep going.
Add to your wardrobe or
Again, remember in a mobile environment, I could not read your tagline on a screen, your screen design. And then in a mobile environment where you're gonna have it so tiny, how are you gonna read even the name of the business at that scale?
I'll take you.
It's
Okay.
really tiny, so you're going to have to pull apart your logo and maybe just use a portion of it. You're gonna have to have a different version so that we can actually read it. Okay, now go to your interface designs. And again, the barnwood is really, really cool. I would think about using that as a background and then having a white square, and maybe it's a white square with patterned edges. Okay, let me show you something. I'm gonna take over your screen.
Attention, please get a pencil. Announcing a hearing breakthrough, a microchip that is so small it can fit on the head of a pin, worn hidden entirely in your ear canal, making you hear clear as a bell, and is proudly made in the USA. Do you feel?
All right, I am screen sharing right now. Entire screen. Okay.
Will others say that you listen to the TV or radio too loudly? Do you feel like a bother to others due to your problems hearing? You may.
All right, Jenna, here's what I would do. I'm just going to I'm gonna Google.
Call now to see if you qualify. This revolutionary chip actually mimics the natural sound selection of the human ear with multi-core microprocessors, technology used in the most advanced computers. And classifying each millisecond.
I know this is
controlling noise.
not really not the total look that you want, but this will work for now.
Revolutionary new microchip. What are you waiting for? Don't let your hearing slip away.
Okay, so you have your barnwood background, and then you might put your content on top.
Our meter goes out just before you take a shower, or look at when you're electric things. Our highly trained staff of individuals.
And if you want to have kind of a tattered edges to give it sort of a shabby chic sort of look, you could do something like that. I would just kind of like, kind of make sort of a.
Study shows 1/3 of all hospital patients are exposed to a medical mistake.
Go around and select kind of jaggedy, and then
100,000 patients each.
and that's kind of harsh. So maybe I want to modify feather 2 pixels and kind of have a soft tattered edge like that. You could do something like that.
Financial
And
compensation.
then
Don't wait. Call us right now. Think of what this could mean for you and your family.
hide this for a second. Your logo, which is really, really great, but I might use that.
You're off the school or college here does not mean that Virginia ever is. There's hot eyes are here from SPL Rent-A-Box. And we have some items here.
I don't know if you're going to be able to see that, but
I just put it active in a way that I'm not trying to move it anywhere. I swear. No, I'm not moving it anywhere. It's going to pack myself at the same. Those things, really. Let's move on. Yeah, let's move on. How does somebody do that?
you might have to lose some of the details for your deployment of your logo on your website, but something like that, I guess. And then you use some flower elements, kind of like, hold on, let me take this.
Our phone number. And what we would do is we would deliver however many boxes that you
You have this great color and this green color. The pink's a little bit light, so maybe you want to kind of, I don't know what typeface you use, but
you label for every box. Okay.
maybe you want to use for your menu bar that green typeface and shop.
And so it's very, very simple. And,
this is not the right.
Other landfills or anything like that. So this one happens is when we deliver them, they're stacked inside of each other like this. We call it nesting.
You know, maybe you have your menu bar made of that green color. And I didn't get the right green, but like shop, about, this. Okay, something like that. Then when you, I know I'm like creating your design, but this is, so if you
this is helpful.
This is not, this right here is kind of like, it looks like your wireframe. It looks under-designed. And then if you look at like, these, you have this whole rustic vibe going on, right? So maybe you want to, hold on, I'm just gonna grab this flower element, and I'm doing a terrible job, but I assume this, you have this in Illustrator. But just to kind of give you a sense for how you could play with these different elements. You know, let's say that this, whatever. Imagine we have a nice clean background. And then over here, we kind of set this off to the side and we do something like, no, go away.
This group right here will allow that second box to go back down into it like a Lego. So you have all of them ready to go when the moving company arrives. Then the moving companies can move these into the truck and build the walls all the way to the top very, very quickly. And it will typically reduce their hourly rate.
You see how I'm trying to take some of these elements and integrate it throughout so that you have kind of a consistent look here? And then maybe,
yeah, it definitely looks good.
Like latest, you're going to have your images right there, and then maybe you say calendar, this, that, I don't know. But I'm trying to use the space like new arrivals. You want to get people excited about going to look at all of these different things. And then, I don't know, and a party. So we're creating content areas that are going to pull out content lower on the page. Maybe the meet Jenna is down here. I don't know.
Remember, everybody, just keep it safe. We're not moving anybody out of their office here on the 9 a.m. show.
Maybe this is more like, belongs more up here.
Okay,
you get the idea?
Yeah, definitely.
So we're trying to create kind of like, if you go back to the original design, it feels kind of, this is the design up here, and this feels really under-designed. And then if you take that picture.
And that should make you mad. Because the dangers of
Oops, I didn't mean to copy that again.
for decades. Yet companies still sold it, never warning you, and made millions, while someone watching me right now was getting ovarian cancer. Mad? Call the talc lawyers at Brown and Crouppen. 222 or usatalc.com.
At Target, we're putting a whole new spin on rewards with Cargo.
Do you know what I mean? I would keep these little same content areas. This is cropped a little bit tight, but and then, you know, keep thinking about ways that you can integrate the design. You know, maybe your maybe you separate your menu bar elements with like a little pink dot or something to kind of, we're trying to, or maybe you take this little flower and that's between all of your menu elements. Remember, repetition. Repetition of design elements is what helps make it feel cohesive.
Hey, everyone. Unless, of course, you shopped at America's Best.
Okay, I hope that helps you a little bit.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, I was really struggling with having the barnwood as the entire background, but it makes sense to put the white over it. It was too busy without that, so that helps a lot.
And if you want to soften that white, this white looks a little bit harsh to me. Maybe you know, you want more of a softer look for this because it is kind of this organic kind of feeling. Maybe you want to kind of make it sort of a real palish, kind of grayish color. and it might feel a little bit softer. I don't know if I like
Oh,
it,
yeah.
but just maybe a little bit,
Just another crooked career politician.
I don't know, not so harsh white.
I wouldn't trust
Yeah.
anyone.
Think about that. And you can, like, make it look like a piece of tattered paper. Maybe it's even sort of semi-transparent.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I like that. I actually, on the other barnwood for like the presentation, I made it pretty transparent. It was very bright, so we toned it down a bit, but
Yeah. Well, I'm just trying to give you some ideas about how you can make a practical design, but still have that rustic feeling. I do really love how you are.
definitely this helps.
Good. I really do like how you have that second design. You're going really mod and funky.
Oh, yeah.
But think about one of the things I ask you to look for when the visual scavenger hunt is sites that kind of have a neutral background, but then are using pops of color. That turquoise and that pink are great pops of color. Just be very careful not to flood your design with like all of that color, because then nothing will stand out. Do you know what I mean? That's what I was trying to get you to keep your eye out for. Okay, one last thing. Think about your social media icons. There are so many different versions of social media icons online. You can just Google rustic version of social media icons or mod version, and people have designed already all of these little icons that have a different, that have like a mod feeling, or you can continue the style you're establishing through your social media icons. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Okay, I need to shut up because I've taken way too much time. Okay, let's go to somebody in here. All right, go ahead, Zach.
Hey, Julia, I have a question regarding the PDF. I wasn't exactly sure how to combine all of my files, and I didn't want to mess up the format, so I didn't do that. But
yeah. Here, let me show you something really quickly. Zach, hang on, I'm going to screen share one more time. One way to do it, I would definitely set up a new InDesign document.
I'm still screen sharing.
Can you guys see what I'm doing? Oh, wait. There.
How deep can we go?
My computer's freaking out a little bit here. Trying to close things. What else do I not need? Okay, so I'm going to create a new website, new document. This is for you, Sarah. I don't want to do facing pages, but by default, it'll be 8.5 by 11. I'm going to say OK. So I'm going to start with my first page here. You know, I may put in some text.
okay.
Project 1, blah, 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 blah. Then I'm going to create another page, and here's where I'm going to be bringing in my first wireframe. Whoops, sorry, I kind of lost control of the mouse here. And you say Command D or get a picture, and I bring in a picture, like my Illustrator file right there. So I'm going to say, or my Photoshop file. Let's see, what can I show you?
And Photoshop files of your mod patch?
Not really. Let's just say this is my interface design. Oh, it's upside down because I turned it upside down. something like that. I want it to fit in there. I say object, fit content proportionally, and there's my first interface design. So InDesign is like a collector, you know, of all of these different elements. I need another page, you know, and so I can bring everything together. All of the things that I've made in Illustrator and Photoshop will import nicely. You can bring your text in here as well. You just create a big text box, but in the end, you're left with an 8.5 by 11 document. Does that make sense, Sarah?
So I can just import my Illustrator files and
Yes.
it will fit the way that I made it, or?
Right. You just bring in any kind of an image, whether it's Illustrator or Photoshop, and you just create a box. This is like an image box, a frame, and then you click on that frame and you say, I was just doing a shortcut because I can't remember what it is, but it would be place, file, place, and you place the image in there.
Okay.
So it's very basic InDesign. How did you guys do it?
Do we have to bring it in via?
No, if you have a better way of doing it, that's fine. I mean, I suppose you could do it in PowerPoint. How did you do yours? Jenna, how'd you do yours?
Oh, sorry. I used artboards in Illustrator, so I just made everything on different artboards in one file and then just saved it as a PDF. Is that okay? Or?
That's perfect. That's perfect. I suppose you could even do it in Microsoft Word, but Microsoft Word I don't think will let you bring in Illustrator files, so you might have to convert your Illustrator files to JPEG. But the bottom line is I want the container piece all to be the same size, because if you were presenting a proposal to a client, you don't want to like give them 10 different unconnected, disconnected pages, you know, that are all different sizes.
Yeah, I mean, each element is same pixel width, so I could place it and then use place.
That's what I did.
On one big long.
Okay, okay. So there are a lot of ways of going about it. We just want one final piece at the end. Got it?
Okay. Yeah.
You will be grateful for this when you work on your portfolio in the end, because then you have like one piece.
Yeah.
Not all of these disparate elements.
Right. Makes sense.
Okay, I'm going to go over to Zach, who is not Mindy, but is actually Zach.
Hi, I'm Mindy. Okay, that was horrible. Why is it still doing like that?
It's okay, just go ahead. And are you screen sharing?
Yeah, how do I share my Word document?
Just pull it up, just navigate to it, and we all see it. It's good.
All right, so you all saw this last time. I added the benefits.
Uh-huh.
Benefits are, we hope the Intm website will not only provide customers with an example of what to expect from expertise, but will also be easy to use and use people components and properties of good web design. People should be able to navigate the site with ease and be able to find the information they need within minutes of visiting the site.
Okay.
And so the flowchart, and now for the wireframes. So here's wireframe number 1. It's very basic.
I'm going to put some, you guys, if you're on the call, you can, do you want me to join the call and you can actually type comments too? With that, do you want me to put you guys on the call?
I speak that.
Okay, I'm gonna put some notes in here. Okay, keep going. Just ignore my notes.
I'll be okay. I'll be anything. But way to go.
I've heard myself.
That's fine.
There.
I'm allowed now. I'm allowed now.
I thought I changed.
What do you use? You use Word? I love how many options there are. Like,
this was not. Let me pull it up, because that was not the side color. That was not a plain white on my screen. I think let's see if I can pull it up. Was that plain white on my screen? I don't remember. What file was looking at? Okay, the background was not a plain white.
But this is the wireframe. It
Yes.
doesn't matter.
Oh.
Okay, so keep going.
So wireframe number 2 is very. Oh, sorry. Here's the mobile version of the wireframe.
Mm-hmm.
Wireframe number 2 is very similar to the first one, except I flipped the content because I was actually kind of deciding on which content should go first, the the heading with the definition, or the the 3 subheadings?
Okay, you don't need to do another set of wireframes. You just need a home page, lower level page.
Oh, I thought by lower level you meant the second half of the home page.
No, I mean like a lower in the hierarchy. You're doing the home page, and then how about like if we go back and look at your flow chart, what does presentations look like this?
Oh,
like,
I
you see
thought
what I mean?
you meant my lower level of the second half of the home page. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. This is why we do this.
We got till Friday.
Yeah,
Well,
Thursday night.
I was still having a thing, I don't know which one, because I've seen it both ways on many different websites.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the mobile of that.
Mm-hmm. Good, very simple.
And so here's the final, here's the what it would look like normal. And I edited my my footer a little bit. I added the social icons and I added the contact information. And here's the mobile version of that. This up here, I put a line here to show that it's a sticky nav bar, and it doesn't scroll with the page. Everything scrolls underneath the line, so you never lose the menu. Now, this is the one, after making this and adding the real headings and stuff, I decided to go with, I'll do the paragraph with the second heading first, and then I'll do the 3 subheadings with extra details. And then here's the mobile version of that, same thing, sticky header, and bigger button.
Right. Okay. Do you guys have any comments? Let's talk about the wireframes first.
I feel like that second block down there, yeah, that part, I feel like that spans too far across the page. Like, I don't know, I read ahead, but it says basically like limit it to 100 characters per line. That's pretty much what the reader will do before they get lost. So I feel like it goes on, like it's fine on mobile where it's condensed, but like on that, it goes on a little too long and then you get lost.
All right.
My comments on your wireframe are there's a really big space between your content areas, and I don't think that's necessary.
I was having some trouble with Photoshop in that part. It was like I accidentally hit a button, and then all my alignments got whacked.
Okay, and then I think there's no need for color. Avoid color in the wireframe. This just confuses a client. I know the only thing in color is your logo right there. But a client's going to be like, well, I don't like that color, and you do not want them to focus on that at all.
All right.
I know you are your client in this case. So you understand that when you go to your interface designs, well, also I would articulate your content area. What are you going to be using these content areas for? And remember,
right, so put the heading, the actual heading.
Tell us how these content areas, is there a reason why there need to be 3?
Yes.
Okay, then justify that through the use of, giving us a little bit more information there.
All right.
Okay, so go down to your interface designs. It looks really clean and modern. I think that I think the H1, that color is getting a little lost.
I agree.
I would steal the green from your computer screens because that green is darker, and then it's going to create more of a cohesive feeling if you can repeat that color throughout. I would also think about using that green color for your headings too. That's going to help the headings stand out.
Maybe.
It's going to start to look like a sea of just black text. You know what I mean?
I try to avoid using color in the body often because I think that's just a little too distracting and complicated.
Well,
I offer off of those computer screens, hit your headings up. I think that will look good.
Let me give you a scientific reasoning for it.
Okay.
I'm going to appeal to your science brain. Having color, making your heading stand out is a trick that newspaper people do. And why do they do that?
They use bold and underline. Is that right? They use that color.
Well, but there's other ways. There's other ways that newspaper layout people make the headlines stand out. And why do they make them stand out? And what other techniques do they do, Brian?
To make the headlines stand out, the newspaper layout person will break the headline up into two parts, between a subhead with one technique, and then the other technique that headline has is to draw interest in the rest of the story by way it's placed across the top.
So, well, those were two things that I didn't think you were going to say. Two reasons. The reason why we make headlines stand out is because we want to improve the scannability of the content, right? So we want to be, yes, you want to be able to quickly see if this is something you're interested in reading or not. Yeah. Why the heck did so many of those newspapers put all of the headlines right on the front page? So that you can quickly scan through them and decide if there's anything you want to check out and then quickly go to it. It improves the scannability if we can make our headlines stand out. Now, a lot of newspapers don't have color on every page. So another way that they make the headlines stand out is through the use of typographic contrast, meaning that if they don't have color, they will use a serif typeface in conjunction with the sans serif typeface. So you'll notice in a newspaper, a lot of the headlines are often sans serif, so they're very bold and modern looking, whereas all of the body copy is a serif. And the reason why they do that is they want the headline to stand out so that it will improve scannability and people will read more. They'll get more eyes into the newspaper. They'll be seeing the ads. They'll keep the paper alive. It's for the well-being of a newspaper. Now, Zach, you want people...
Okay, I see what you mean. I think it looks better.
Yes, you want people to look down and be like, okay, what is this about? He'll teach me how to code. Oh, I'm into that. You want to improve the scannability of your content.
All right, I see what you mean.
Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you just need to mock up your lower level pages. I think your look is very clean. It's modern. It's what you're going for. We also, you want the eye to jump back and forth. H1, they're the people who are going to teach me to code. H1, and you create that visual connection between your brand and what you're going to offer people. Got it?
All right.
Anybody have anything more to say about Zach?
Well, Zach wants everything to breathe nicely, and I see that in his interface at times, but how much is too much?
Breathe nicely?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, there's a lot of space.
That was an accident. That was an accident.
Okay, yeah.
You're going to tighten them up?
Yeah, that was a Photoshop accident. Something happened whenever I was doing this the other day, and all my alignment got whacked.
Okay, one more comment. Go on down. Do you see here on your why should I make a website is smaller type-wise than learn to code and grow your business and attract customers? I assume that's a mistake too.
That is also a mistake.
Okay, because remember, by making type different sizes, it confuses the viewer. Like, wait, is that less important or is that? So make sure that you're consistent with that and make sure you're consistent with your amount of white space between content blocks. Okay?
I just chose an arbitrary height because it's weird because the website's more than just 1024.768. So I was just trying to pick a height, and so I compensated for that as well, and then Photoshop messed me up. So it's not going to be the spaced apart.
Okay.
This is going to be like probably more of the here.
Okay.
This is going to be done, and the footer is not going to be this thick, and etc.
Okay. All right. I think you're on the right track. I'm cutting you off because we got to jump over to somebody else. Sarah or Kate, you want to go next?
I can go.
Okay. We're going over to Kate now. Coming in from Crystal City, Missouri.
Oh, yeah. Where dreams are made of.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Go over to click on Chris. Click on Crystal. Click on Kate.
Okay. Can you
Sarah,
see
did
it?
I remember to update your grades for presenting on Friday? Did you look at that?
I don't think you did.
Okay. I'll double check that.
Okay.
All right,
Can you
Kate.
see my screen?
Yep, we can see it.
Okay, so I've already shown you the proposal and my flow chart. I think You mentioned earlier that I should probably make all the images the same size so it's not like this. But
well, you can take all of those images and bring them into a document that is the same size. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I just combined them all in Acrobat, and that's what it ended up doing. But
okay.
I showed you my wireframes. I think that my website, I need to go back and change my wireframes because some things have changed since I made these. So let's just scroll down here. So this is my first home page that I made. Let's scroll. So it's kind of changed since my wireframe. But I had to change the logo a little bit because trying to fit like a square logo on this page was hard. So I kind of made it stretch out more and made it more simple. And then I did just like a small menu bar at the top. I saw other restaurants did that, and I kind of liked the way it looked. And then I just put a picture of the crew that works there, a map so that people can easily find it, and then just an advertisement of the drinks. And then at the bottom you have the social media icons and then the address and phone number. This down here is my mobile version of that. So I incorporated the map, and it kind of looks pretty similar to the other one. And then this is a lower level page, the about page. So I just put another picture of, this is the lady who owns it, and then we would say a little bit about it, and then meet our team. You can click there, and then that would take you to the other page about all the other people who work there. This is my mobile version. And then I did another home page. So I put the menu bar on the left side rather than the top. I used the same logo because I think it fits well. And then I incorporated, click here to find us rather than putting just the map on the front page, and then some images. And the Bob Marley is like the most famous drink that they have there. And then the hours. This is the mobile version. I pretty much incorporated all the same things there. And then this is the contact page. So you have a map, you have the address, the phone number, and an email address. And then I just threw a couple images in there that I thought were cute. And then this is the mobile version. So I'll scroll in a little bit, and it's kind of the same look. So
I kind of want to focus on the interface designs for you. I think that the wireframes, I think you've kind of solved your issues with the flow chart. Your wireframes are not really problematic, I don't think. Can you go back up to the wireframes?
Yeah, like I said, I think there's a couple more things like I need to go back and change because they're not completely the same as whenever I ended up designing the actual interface. So
with the wireframes, this first one here, you have find us and then a map. I would just, obviously, it's sort of redundant. I would just make that like a crisscross in the box. And
okay.
Then promotions is the title, and then put a crisscross in the box.
Okay.
Keep going. You would never want to have type span that big of a width.
Okay.
First of all, there's no padding on the left or the right, and I know you're trying to be good about alignment, but pick a different alignment point than that photograph that's going to scan across the top. Imagine you had text that was going to be the entire width of your computer screen. It'd be really, really hard to read because if people, when you have really long lines of type, it's like scientifically proven to be harder to read.
Okay.
So I would not suggest that dealing with the content in that way. Okay, so let's go to your interface designs. I kind of want to do for you what I did for Jenna, because this place is like a party happening place, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the Jerk Shack, for the love of God. It's like Jamaican, right? It's like legit Jamaican at the lake, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what I would do, and this feels like pretty generic to me. It looks, you have some nice images here, but it feels like everything else in the interface is sort of a missed opportunity, because it feels like a lot like your wireframe. It looks like, it feels like, you know, the plain cans of like generic, like cartoon generic cans of beans that are just white and black and say beans on them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think you could add a lot more life to this and really communicate the feeling of this place.
Okay.
Are you guys with me on that? Okay, so here's some just little quick change. I'm going to spend 5 minutes on your interface. So I'm going to take over your screen, okay?
Okay.
I think your other interface has more life, by the way. This one,
Yeah,
though,
I think so too.
although I would put some white behind the content elements in the back. All right, so first of all, this guy has a lot of detail, your little guy right here. He's really cute. And remember, thank you. Your objective is communicating fun, right?
Yeah.
So instead of maybe rendering him at this scale, what if his little head pops up? Ah, crap.
I can't see what you're doing,
I know,
Julia.
Okay.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second. Okay. You should, you see it now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. We want to see the detail of this little guy. And also, I think it'll provide a little bit more balance in character, give it a little bit more character. So your guy could be, it's a little bit too big, but hey, it's the Jerk Shack. Come on in, it's a party here, right? So I would take that and make it look like he's peeking out over your interface design. Come on, Mon, it's the Jerk Shack. See, I'm trying to get you excited about this, Kate. That might even be too big. Now, if we want to communicate, this might actually work better over here and then the Jerk Shack after it. I don't know. But anyway, if you want to bring in some bold colors,
Yeah, I really wanted to incorporate like the Rasta colors in there, but I wasn't sure how because they're just so bright.
they are really crazy bright. We want to get the feeling of Jamaica here. So, oh, that's not one. Jamaican flag. How about that? Oh. All right, so this seems kind of, this explosion of color right here. Let's just try something like this. Okay, now it's gonna look super duper busy. So maybe that's not such a good idea there. But if we,
Looks good, just like on the top, maybe.
Yeah, maybe we just put this, maybe we fill this with black. Now your pictures are standing out a little bit more. So you have some kind of different elements, you know, like right here. So how could we make these feel more cohesive? You could, you know, you want to title these maybe similarly. So let's say this content element mean, I think you want to play with some bold contrast. And I would title these, like, I would find us. So I would title these content areas similarly, you know, to have like a little heading above these different things. And I would use a typeface that has a little bit more character, you know. And take that. I mean, this seems like, I mean, it's at the Lake of the Ozarks and it's all about partying. This should be like the most fun looking website ever. Okay, so I'm kind of making a mess of this, but. Okay. I'm going to save because I feel like my thing is going to crash. And let's pick a typeface that has a real kind of island, get on island time. It's island time, something kind of goofy like that that's going to. My spelling's lovely, huh? So I would pick a typeface that kind of has sort of a crazy island feeling. And I probably have something like that, like, how can I communicate that this is a party place? A typeface could have a huge impact. Okay, I'm spending way too long on this, but I just want to give you kind of an idea. Maybe I don't have anything that's too goofy looking. A lot of weird Asian characters here, huh? Well, this is hideous, but it kind of, it has more of a, that's not the right typeface, but do you see here how I'm trying to repeat elements and make it feel like cohesive?
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't stand out, but have fun with this, Kate.
Mm-hmm.
Have fun with it within the constraints of, you know, helping us understand what's what.
Okay.
What do you guys think? Yeah.
I think what would really work is, especially for the title of the Jerk Shack, if you had a type that would be like black outline with like white lettering, you know what I mean? That can stand out against anything.
Right.
That would really work up there. Or you could do that and then mask that and have the colors inside of it.
Yeah.
Which would also be cool. Either way, that would help it stand out. So like how it looks, it's just like before we go in.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So think about adding that's a great idea. She's suggesting using a typeface that has like a white fill and then a black outline. It would really, it might really pop.
Yeah.
But I would focus on giving it more character and defining the areas. I mean, this area is obviously, one of the things you said is that people don't exactly know where it is. So I'm glad that you're prioritizing some of this space on the homepage to help people find out where it is. So we'll say, arrive by land or sea, or lake. You know? And remember, your objective is to make this feel like a fun place. So by even the way that you title your content areas, it's going to communicate a feeling of fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Kate, have fun with this. This is the Jerk Shack. It's crazy time. It's party time. If you need to drink a little bit while you work on this, it's fine. I give you my blessing, okay?
All right. I'm only 20.
Oh, I didn't say that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to come back to somebody in our group here. Who wants to present over here? We've got Matthew, Laura. You want to go? Okay, Laura is coming up here. Yeah, click Wendy's face. There you go. Yeah. And if you just pick an entire screen, Laura, it'll show whatever you want to show.
Okay, this is my updated flow chart for project. And then this is my first wireframe. I don't know if if we're supposed to put like the typeface we're gonna use on the wireframe or just like plain, you know. But I don't know if I did too much for it. But that's my homepage wireframe. This is the mobile version. And this is my homepage design.
Go back a second. Well, first of all, okay, we can take us through everything.
Okay. And then this is the mobile version. And then this would be the lower level page. I did I have to change it to holiday collection, but I did this page just featuring all the plates she has. So this would be one of the categories of it. This is the mobile version. And then I accidentally did the wireframes for the second thing, so I have to fix that.
Right, you want to keep the same layout, just a different look and feel.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I accidentally did the wireframe version, so I have to fix that. But yeah, this is what I have so far. And then I still have to include, this isn't like the final version. I have to put together proposal and everything.
So let's go back to your wireframes for a second. Any comments on the wireframes?
I feel like that one's not really optimized for mobile. It kind of looks more like a tablet. Like when you're on mobile, those tiny little icons for the social media can be like really too small. That hamburger menu is really too small. Like, and then like just thinking it's in your hand, that's going to be impossible to click on. And then the shop on Etsy is good. I like it as a large button, but it should probably be like above, below, interspersed because the content needs to be bigger so I can read it. Okay.
Exactly. Watch your line work. I would keep all your line work the same. And avoid, I know you want to put your logo in there and everything, and we don't need any of the content. But this content, Your content, just make it span the whole width, because on a phone, it's so narrow. You're using a whole column of white space just so that, I mean, Shop on Etsy does stand out pretty well, but I would think about making that, you know, if this box represents an image slider where you're taking us through some of the products, that's great. And then underneath, maybe shop, or maybe putting this shop button, like maybe make the Etsy logo right here, or just say shop on Etsy or something like that in your top area right there to make it really stand out.
So put it like on top of the image, or I was
I don't know. My biggest point is that make this image, the square image, span the whole space. Okay. Welcome to Debbie Doodle Creation. Make that span the whole space, because by putting this right here, you're losing all that white space underneath it.
Right.
So shop on Etsy, you're prioritizing it because you want people to shop. You're getting it. That's a priority. So possibly maybe make a wide button that spans the whole space and put it underneath the image slider. You're showing me all this exciting stuff, shop on Etsy, and then learn more about it, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So I also think about why is this not occupying the same space as this? So watch your alignment. Your line, why is the line width inconsistent between here and here and here? So you have different stroke widths on all of these different elements. So just clean all that up. Okay, go back to your homepage wireframe. Again, you know, why is the menu spanning this, but then you have underneath it,
smaller.
Yeah, and if this is the homepage, instead of maybe, if Etsy is really a priority, you could just say, I'm going to do the Etsy, the thing I was showing you last week where it's like 20 products from Etsy, and it organically changes. The nice thing about that is that little widget thing, it automatically shows the 20 most recent products. So for example, if Debbie uploads 3 new products and something sells on our site and she renews it, those are going to be the most recent. And so it'll be fresh is my point. So just make that a square and say Etsy widget, or, you know, to kind of indicate where it's like recent products from Etsy, so we see what that is. So make this span the width of your interface and indicate, like, where does this screen end? You know, it's a little bit confusing there. I would not put your social media icons, well, maybe if that's part of a footer, but you might want to define that space as a footer with a line or something. Okay, and go to your interface designs. What do you guys think about the interface design? There's some elements that are really great and feminine and really feel like, you know, are communicating her aesthetic. Do you guys have any suggestions or thoughts?
Less about the more pictures of plates.
Yeah, I didn't understand why. Do you think it is a good thing that it's, I'm talking to Julia,
Yeah.
do you think it is a good thing that it's more feminine? Because I don't, like, I feel like anyone.
That the touch right there, I get that's what the plates are like. You know, I get that feel.
Yeah, because like I don't like I understand like the interface looks feminine, but like the plates and everything, it's like it's very holiday, not very gender specific. I don't think.
Huh? It could be just the images that she's choosing too.
Yeah, that too.
Those are holiday. Right.
Mindy, what do you think?
I thought the color palette and then like the typeface was perfect for this. I thought it was really good because it's, I mean, it is kind of feminine. I didn't see it as like the whole thing is, I don't know, it's kind of like for me reading into the fact that the plates are delicate, so that's playing into the light pinky color and like the thin type. I don't know, I think it's reinforcing that it's a delicate and a nice product as opposed to gender specific. I mean, you could go like the lilac route if you wanted to remove that aspect of it. I don't see it as a problem, but I can see how some people would move that into it, which might not be what you're going for.
I just wouldn't want to be turned away if I got like if I'm a guy and I'm totally into this and I go to the website and like it seems like it's only for like girls, like I'd be very turned away.
I think what's working against you is the images of the plates themselves. I don't think they're very good images. There's a lot of detail in these pictures, and you're displaying them very small, and so we're not seeing them. Imagine if, for example, I think one of the strongest less holiday images is the one on the right in the middle row, the monogram one, which feels very like it's probably a wedding gift, designed to be a wedding gift. But if it were on a clean white background and it was just a beautiful image, that would do wonders for the whole project. I mean, the whole interface would look good if that image was good. The other thing is the proportions of this. It's like you've designed it in a square, and computer screens aren't really square. So I mean, think about my computer screen. Would this menu bar right here really go all the way across? Probably not. I would suggest maybe taking your social media icons, putting your menu so that it goes, you know, making the menu smaller, and because the whole proportion is going to be squattier, right? So making the menu bar smaller and either centering it or maybe left align it, and then on the right hand side you have your social media icons right there or something like that, and put them all in that strip. Therefore, if your screen gets bigger or smaller, they would just kind of come closer together, and it doesn't necessarily need to span the whole space. I like this little flary sort of detail that you have on the top, and it could be kind of a graphic element that shows up behind your headers or something like that, is to kind of make it feel more cohesive. Or maybe it goes along the footer. This square with the rectangle, very heavy line work, even though it's a soft color, that square feels very rigid and harsh. And so maybe you could define the content area in a way that wasn't so. Remember, we were looking at Jenna's thing, and I was like, oh, you could make a white box in front of it, and then let's rough up the edges to give it sort of that shabby chic sort of feel. Debbie Doodle, you're getting at the look, like the typeface you chose. It looks like a handwritten typeface. And so that goes with Debbie Doodle. These are hand-painted plates. And so, but that heavy definition of your content area with those rectangles, sharp corners, is working against, you know. I would bring in a picture of Debbie, even if you don't have one. Just steal one online, just a mock-up to show, yeah, if you really want to know about Debbie, you should probably have a picture of her. And I think about playing with your content a little bit, like no two pieces exactly alike. That's kind of a cool thing. Maybe you want to kind of pull that out and make it bold or something like that to kind of emphasize your content. Now, if this is going to be the Etsy thing on the homepage, I would actually steal it from Etsy, and so that you really get a sense of what it is.
Isn't Etsy logo like
Super round?
brown?
Brown?
Wouldn't that be like really stark against all of them?
No, what I'm saying to use is this, so you can get this. I'm just going to share the screen for a second. Like this thing right here. Taking that, and then imagine her pictures in that, like shop now, or, you know, follow me. Or, I don't know, you could do something like that with her pictures in it. So this is something that Etsy will produce of the 20 or whatever, I don't know, what do I have on there? 16 most recent designs or something like that. So for your other look and feel, you're going to want to go in a different direction, Laura. So think about a different typeface. You need to make some tweaks to the layout, but once you're happy with the new layout, think about how you could maybe make it look different. In this example, you've chosen white in the background and kind of a pink in the content area. I would reverse it. I would do something completely different. I would maybe do a textured background and maybe a lighter kind of foreground for your content to rest on. And then think about a different typeface, maybe a little bit of a different treatment. If you're, you know, maybe there's something, a detail from one of her plates that you could pull in or something like that to make it, you're showing two really different looks.
And then for the, I
I guess the first design, should I take out the pink? Because I don't want it to be like put too much of a feminine feel on it. I don't know.
On what's the first design?
Or the first, like this one that I have up here. Like, should I change the color of it to more of like a neutral? Yeah, because for the like 4 pictures, I was going to put one from each of the categories that she has, and like to kind of do this for the slider where it changes every month.
Right. And did my email make sense to you?
Yeah, I thought like a couple of weeks, I thought we had to code it, so that's what I was wondering how to do. But then I watched the video and realized we didn't have to do it. So, but
yeah, just mock it up. Everybody's been. We lost the broadcast. Okay, here we go. Jenna, were you saying something over there?
Oh no, sorry. I
It's
had to
okay.
go to my desk. I was talking to somebody. Sorry.
I'm trying to get through everywhere. I'm going to jump over to, how about we go to Sarah since she's online, and you ready to show your stuff?
Yeah, I'm ready. I have it all in
There's
Illustrator.
so many people that are presenting today. I have to remember everybody.
I hope that's all right. I don't know. It keeps cutting out. Guys, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't hear anybody else.
I can't hear anyone, and I don't know. Is my screen sharing? Hello?
I see your screen, yeah, but I don't see anything else. I lost them.
Okay. Well.
I see Jenna too, but I don't see them.
Yeah.
I'm still here. I don't know. When I walked up to my desk, I hope I didn't mess it up because it was like cutting out, but I guess it wouldn't be.
No, it's probably Webster's.
Okay. This happened a minute ago too.
Oh, someone says go ahead and present. Okay. So this is my flow chart. It's not that great of a flow chart, but I'm still working on it. I don't know why. I just can't get the whole flow chart down.
Oh, she's saying, hang on, we can't hear you.
Oh, okay. Oh. I guess they're coming back.
Hopefully.
Okay, I think I'm back on.
Oh, okay. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Okay. So I still have it all.
Go ahead.
in
There we go.
Illustrator, and this is my flow chart, and it's not completely how I want it to be, but I think I have a better idea of what I'm doing from the last time that I talked to you, Julia, and Zach. I think it was Zach. And these are my mobile wireframes. So I just looked at a bunch of examples online and tried to figure out the best way to position things. And these are my website wireframes. Sorry. This is the home page wireframe, and it's a little bit different than the mobile wireframe because it's a wider area to cover. And this is my other wireframe, and it just gives a little information, and then it's just an outline. So, and then here's my mobile website. Yeah, I just planned everything out pretty carefully, and I tried to
there we go.
Look at some websites, like I looked at Apple, some other like outdoor cushion cover websites, and tried to see what worked best. And these are my website pages. So it's basically the same. It's a little bit more busy, but it's basically almost the same, and it's just placed a bit differently. So do you have any feedback for me?
Yeah, sorry, we kind of were going on and out and on, out and in a little bit.
Okay.
Can you go back to your wireframes?
Yeah.
Big improvement on your flow chart. What do you guys think about the mobile wireframes?
I don't like the nav bar.
We think that the nav bar is gonna, once you get to like 5 sections up there, it's gonna be very hard to click on all of those. I would just show it as a hamburger menu.
Okay.
That's text is not gonna fit right.
Yes, text is too small. You know, you're going to want to, most things on most mobile versions of sites, they span everything spans the entire width.
Right.
So this layout, especially the one on the right where you have text and image next to each other, you're going to have to stack them.
Okay.
Okay, go to your website. Your website wireframe, I'm sorry.
So if there's products, if there's products in the page you want, you'd rather have one with a description and then another one with another description below it instead of like 2 pictures, 2 descriptions, 2 pictures, 2 descriptions.
It just gets too busy on a phone.
Does,
you can't see that much. Sarah, I think that you've done so much work since Friday. BT
Right.
Dub. I just have little notes for you. The first thing on the left that we're looking at, you don't need that home thing. I mean, it should be intuitive. Take that off, move the scroll through images up. And then the thumbnails below it. I know, yeah, you only have 4. That seems like it takes up a lot of space.
Okay. Should I get rid of them?
Well, I don't know. What do you guys think? It feels like they're floating a little bit out there. So I would either mock it up with a whole row of pictures, or I would just move them to the left, make them smaller, and then continue that column with gray. Or you can do the thing where it's just little dots that are in, right below it, so we know that we're toggling through lots of images. The benefit of doing what you're doing is those are all like mini icons. So if there's a specific picture we want to see, we can click on it. So I don't have such a huge problem with that. I think you have some alignment issues with the 2 content areas below it. You have a lot of white space between those 2 content areas that I think you could use because you have some very long titles for those different sections.
Right.
And then it gets a little muddy with like that title and then a bold style right underneath it. It just feels a little bit convoluted with those texts kind of like laying on top of each other.
Yeah. Well, I want on my website, I have this like next to an image that has like just the background of the website, and it's not, I don't know, my wireframes are a little bit different than my final website. See, here, I'll show you. See, I did it like right here.
Yes, and I guess the thing is in your wireframes, I would just show that whole content area. Basically, a bold style is part of the picture, kind of, or maybe maybe it's a caption or something underneath. I would just show that as a box, one box.
And then I didn't even include the home on this one because I thought, like, I was thinking, oh, that's too much. But I forgot to take it off.
Yes. Well, that was good intuition. I think that, remember in your wireframe, you are spanning the entire space with your pictures. And in here, you're realizing when you got to the design part, you're realizing that, oh my gosh, my picture isn't that proportion. That's going to be a little bit tricky.
Yeah.
Because pictures typically aren't that proportion of that long, wide slideshow. So you're going to either, if you want it to have that long, wide slideshow, then you're going to either need to stretch it and crop it, or can you go back to your website a second? Or move it over to the left and use that right column as a content area about, where you maybe talk a little bit about the philosophy, or visit our show, visit our showroom, or where can I shop, or use that column in a different way.
Right, that makes sense.
What do you think about her titles? Introducing the deep-seated chair cushion cover. Do you think that those headlines get a little lost in there?
You talking about like the bold on top of the bold on the side, on the bottom of the top, like, is that what you're talking about?
I'm talking about what she's clicking on right now.
Oh,
See, those get a little bit lost. You might think about, there's not enough white space around them. So I would go bolder but smaller in a color, and then maybe use some kind of dividing line between that top content and what's beneath it, because it all is sort of flowing together.
Okay, so bolder and smaller.
Use, that typeface that you have from Meet the Creators and What Are Porch Pockets. Use that over in your homepage.
And that, but what about for like this? Should I change these to like not being bold? Like this phrase and this.
That text, I don't really love how it's arbitrarily placed right there. I think
Yeah.
I would probably put it center and underneath your pictures and do the same on both of them.
Okay.
And that shock cushion covers gets a little bit lost.
Okay.
If you decide that you want to keep your slideshow that same proportion, you could use that column, the top column, right-hand column, all about like shop for porch pockets. We can be found here, 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 shop for us here, and direct people places where they can buy it.
Okay.
You may even, and this may be kind of crazy, but I'm wondering how it would look of your slideshow area at the top. What if your top part of your homepage sat on a deep green background? So draw a box behind that picture.
Behind?
Yeah, go behind, no, underneath the menu bar. Start underneath the menu bar.
Oh, okay.
Go all the way to your left. Go all the way off the screen. All the way to your left. Yeah. Okay. Down, down.
Okay.
No, not that far. About after your thumbnails.
Okay.
No, not.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
see what you're saying.
Span the entire width of your interface.
All right. I'll try to make it.
Yeah, scoot it over.
And make it a green?
Your green and your porch pocket logo. Yeah, something. Try that. Try that color. That's fine.
And
send that to the back and butt that right up to your menu bar.
Oh, whoops. Bring forward. I don't know.
Just keep going. Bring forward. Okay. There you go. And then make it a little bit smaller. And I mean, height-wise, make it smaller. And then you might take that helps kind of tie together the logo. And then I might take your slideshow, bring it to the left, and make a white column inset of that green where you talk about where to buy.
Take this and take it to the left?
And then take the thing above it and take it to the left.
What thing above? Oh, this.
Big picture.
Oh, okay.
Line that to the left. And then maybe you want to make a white, use that extra space over on the white, on the green, to put in a white column where you talk about where to buy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea.
And then it helps divide that top space with the bottom space from the bottom space. You see what I mean?
Oops. Yeah.
And it kind of helps tie it together because it takes that green from your logo, and it repeats that color to make it feel really cohesive.
Okay. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying here? What do you guys think? Do you like it?
I do.
And then you see in your next one, I want you to try one more thing. Do you see where it says, what are porch pockets and meet the creators?
Yes.
Take those two headers and make those green as well. The same green. Ooh, it's too light. Maybe a deep red. Darker. Yeah, there you go. Try something like that. Okay, I don't know if I love that. Oh, you know what? You've got a black outline on those, don't you? Oh, no. It looks better on this.
It's just bolded.
Uh-huh. It looks better
Maybe I can
on the screen than it does, on my computer than it does here. But I was just trying to help you find a way to kind of bring that color scheme in,
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I was kind of like timid about using a lot of color because of the logo.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to take away from the logo, but I see this actually helps the design more, the green background.
Good. Okay, I'm sorry, we're going so long. I want to get to, I think you're on the right track. And I
Okay.
showing the pictures, don't you love the pictures of the things themselves? You know, they look so clean. The cushions where the background's removed look so much better than what you showed on Friday.
Yeah.
Keep going. Try to come up with something different for your other set of interface designs, but I think you have the right idea.
Okay. All right. Will do.
Okay, I'm going to go over to.
I actually gotta get going to work. Would you have a problem?
Shoot, Matthew has to go, and Brian has to go.
On Tuesday, I can do present and then do a project too, like what I had, like with the wireframe and that. So I can do two at once for just like only one credit.
We'll figure something out. Don't worry. Don't worry. I want to, but if you want me to look at things offline, will you email me your project?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you for participating. Hey, Brian, do you want to show yours?
Sure.
Okay, one last person, okay?
Okay.
While he's setting up, I just want to make sure I don't have a kid emergency.
Have a good day.
All right.
Bye, Matthew.
Okay, this is Brian. He's our last guy to present. That was Sarah. We got, so for the presentations, I have Zach, Jenna, Mindy, Laura, Sarah, Kate, and Brian. I didn't miss anybody, did I? Okay. You guys have done a great job, and I want these pieces to be great pieces for your portfolio, and I think that they are going to be good pieces to show your thinking, and if you want to keep making improvements to them throughout the semester, we can come back to them later on. So just go ahead and share your screen. Click on, do you see Mindy's icon?
I don't see Mindy's icon.
See the picture of Sarah that's showing up?
Just unlock it and then click the one right to the right of it.
With this one?
Yep, click that. And you're already screen sharing, so go ahead and pull up your files.
Okay, there we go. I started this with a lot of challenges. In my first presentation here, I came up with a lot of questions from Julia that my mission was to answer. And in the meantime, I discovered that our college actually started a voting website. Webster.edu/campuslife/vote. So my job was to find a reason, come up with copy that explained to Webster, even though they have a site of their own, why they should do a site called Webster Votes. I went back and did some actual research and found copy that I think fits each category. I'm locked in font-wise and color-wise because I'm using Webster stuff. It's going to be a Webster, it's a Webster site. Webster is still the client, even though they actually have a page. I think my page is more exciting because we had to basically answer this question. What's going to make, I had to make a case. And there must be some benefit that's not so obvious. And I think I answered that here in a couple of points. First, under the objective is, you can all read, but the audience is also well targeted, and I disseminate through our student-related online platforms, which includes the normal Webster website, to just commuter and resident students here. Outcomes was tough, but I found some outcomes, and I thought that was a good one. I feel that there's a lot of clauses a little bit in some of the text, but they do get the point across. The description itself flows nicely into the flow chart, I think. So Webster Votes will help students make a voting plan by publicizing government and nonpartisan resources, centralizing voter registration, absentee voting, ID requirements, and polling place locations on the website.
That is a decision tree, which this site has to launch right out of. And that's reflected in the flowchart. Everything goes right off of the home page. The home page is not coming down this way. And everything is launching out from it. So these are the decisions of the tree that we talked about initially.
Okay.
Okay. Registration site goes over here. You can go to check their registration. They can go register. They can register online. They can register with Campus Registrar. This flowchart is made to actually reflect kind of what's going on at Webster and kind of what they have on their site already as elements, because these are actual events that students can plug into. This is an actual event that students can plug into too. These are two services the campus is actually offering. Okay, so from there, I wanted to make sure I could get an attractive looking page, but still stay within the Webster domain or still abide by the Webster way. So I'm locked to using my header and footer as the college website. However, I don't have to keep the middle, the active area, the same. I do have to abide by what they lay out here. And this stuff is actually all on Webster's website. They dictate what colors you can use. These are available to use as well. So I reflected the actual navigation of our college's website up top and down bottom. These are your decisions that the voter makes. These are click-throughs to the subpages. The events calendar and the election experts are actually on the Webster voting site. Okay, so since they're my client, I have to abide by certain standards, I think. So we've talked about events and calendar being redundant. Webster actually has that on their website right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they do. So since they're the client, I reflect. Yeah.
Okay.
So my question to the class is this, and also to the instructor. If I'm working with Webster as the client, okay, I'm relegated to basically a big chunk of my real estate gone. This does not look like our college's website. You go to the voting page for Webster University, and it just looks exactly like every other page at Webster University. So what I attempted to do was liven it up.
So is this your only wireframe?
Yeah, that's my wireframe for the home page. And before I went further, I developed elements for interface design, and I'm ready to put it together. But
is this layout appropriate?
Yeah, is my question.
What do you guys think? What is your reaction to this wireframe?
It's not Webster compliant.
Why not?
It just doesn't feel like a Webster website.
What's not compliant about it? The fonts are the substitute fonts.
I'm just thinking of layout.
The nav top and bottom are their page.
Oh.
Well, let's just imagine that he's under the constraints of having the Webster footer and the Webster header.
That's what I'm assuming I am. On any university, I would be locked in these with any.
Right.
Any
Why don't you pull up the Webster website real quick?
Okay.
Okay, what I want you to notice is how much what would you guys say about that header bar, the Webster header bar? Let's assume that he has to have the header bar, and we'll assume that he has to have the footer bar, but we don't see the footer bar at this moment. Looking at this screen, what is inside the browser window? What percentage of the interface is taken up by that blue header bar? Just give me a guess. 15, that's exactly what I was about to say. 15% about. Now let's go over to your mock-up. Now what percentage of his interface is taken up by his header bar and the footer bar?
Like 25, 30.
A lot of white space. I mean, you are really kind of you're making it too hard on yourself. Assume this is not going to appear, right? Okay? So even if this was all white down here, I think you're about like at 20, 25%. You're not giving yourself a whole lot of space. So go back to the website again. What I would do if I were you, look at how much white space, I mean, between the header bar and then the content area. And then just the openness of this. And then you have this right here. The way that you describe your whole site is there's like 4 things, right? It feels like you should play off of kind of what Webster's doing already, and you just make your 4 things really prominent, or that big image span the whole area where you have 4 sections in the image itself. Then down below, events, this. It doesn't feel like you're prioritizing your information very well in your interface. So go back to your interface. Like this is the main deal right here, and you can use what's underneath it. Plus, I think you actually have more space below. This is the big deal. Make this span the whole width, and then this and this kind of content seems sort of like secondary, but you're putting them in different places. I would kind of say, okay, my primary content, do these 4 things. Secondary content, all below. Whereas this is kind of secondary content, we're putting it over here. Then we have this big thing right here, which I think is really important. It's the whole structure of the site. And then I have more secondary content. You have to prioritize it and help us understand what is the most important thing. Those four elements that you've defined up in your flowchart take you to everything you need to do for this site. So it feels like you should give them higher priority in your interface.
I got you.
And also,
so shorten this because it's a little wide.
Yeah.
Right. And then base the prioritization off what we normally see on our website.
Yes.
Okay.
I would actually do a screenshot of the Webster website and then put some guides in to help you match the white space.
Yeah, I can do that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, just insert it as a template.
Yeah. I think it's going to be challenging for you. You've picked a challenging project because for you to pick 2 way different looks when you have to stay within the Webster framework. How are you going to really differentiate your looks?
Right, because you know they're not going to go for a radical change just to possibly attract click-throughs.
Well, think of it as like a microsite underneath. This is the Webster Vote site. So think about everything below. Yeah, you can keep that little header up there, and we'll assume that there's the footer below. But imagine this is your own microsite underneath that header of the Webster navigation.
Oh, that's great to hear because the footer being gone changes the game.
Yeah.
You know, because I was thinking whole screen.
Right.
You know, and Webster pages scroll forever.
Right. Well, rethink this a little bit, and then
that's an easy fix.
You need to get into, and then you need to think about how that's all going to flow into the mobile, and then you need to think about creating 2 very different looks for the Webster Votes microsite that just happens to be underneath this Webster banner.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. while keeping with what font availability they give you and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think you're really restricting yourself a lot. I mean, this is kind of like, think about like the Webster Centennial.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they had their own site, microsite, underneath the Webster environment, where it's like the whole Webster Centennial. Think about it as a special microsite underneath.
In athletics does it a little bit. MCISA does it a little bit. You know, nobody goes too nuts. You know, but you know, considering, yeah, I think the 4 decisions or the 4 buttons.
Those are the big deal.
Are the hooks.
And you may think about creating kind of stylized buttons where you have like matching iconography, kind of coordinating iconography for get out and vote. And then you have someone like running out of a door, or like voter ID, and it's kind of like an icon of a, I mean, you could really kind of go sort of old school with like some cute little icons.
Oh, and have icons on the
for each one.
Themselves.
That might be one of your looks. I don't know. And then you could go for something like completely more modern in another look. But figure out how you're going to use the screen area, and make sure you start with very realistic proportions.
Okay.
Okay?
That makes sense.
All right. I think we're all ready to wrap this up.
Cool.
Next time you go first, Brian. Sorry to cut you off.
Oh, you're fine.
All right. So I've set the deadline for midnight on Thursday, you guys.
I'm okay to close Debbie Doodle.
Which midnight on Thursday? First midnight or midnight to Friday?
No, Thursday night at midnight, so before Friday begins. At the very beginning of the Friday hours is what I'm saying. You got it over there, ladies?
Yeah,
if you have a question, let me know. I don't really have, just make sure, I think we're at the end of week 6, so you're going to want to finish the week 5, 6 work as well before Friday night at midnight. And then if you want to take a look at Project 2 and get a jump start on it, we can. I'll unlock that today, I promise. So we can just, we're probably going to have a short session on Tuesday. If someone wants to present on Tuesday, they can. And the beginning ideas of Project 2. But probably we won't have a lot of presentations, but we'll just play it by ear. Because you guys have a lot of work to do between now and the end of the week. All right, toodaloo, guys.